Hey there. You know that feeling when your kid, like, does something awesome and you're just, I don't know, beaming with pride?
The best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're diving deep into how to cultivate more of those moments.
Yeah.
In this deep dive, it's all about, raising kids who are, well, little humans we actually enjoy being around.
Yeah, it's a goal we can all get behind, for sure. And you've sent in some research that really makes us, like, rethink this whole discipline thing. Because, let's be honest, for a lot of us, discipline probably brings up, I don't know, maybe not so fun memories of punishments from our own childhoods.
Oh, 100%. Like, go to your room.
Right.
But this source, it dives right in, saying discipline isn't about punishment at all.
Interesting.
It's about teaching kids to, make good choices, manage their own behavior.
Okay.
Which sounds amazing in theory, but how do we actually do that?
Well, this got me thinking about how often we tell kids, do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, yeah.
But the reality is kids are like little copycats. They learn by watching us way more than by listening to us.
Okay, that's a bit terrifying when you actually say it out loud.
Right. Like if we yell when we're angry,
Oh, gosh.
we're basically giving them permission to do the same.
Makes sense.
So modeling the behavior we want to see is huge.
It makes you realize how important it is to, deal with our own frustration in healthy ways, too.
Oh, absolutely.
So we don't pass those bad habits on.
Exactly. And this research, it really dives into the downsides of physical punishment.
Yeah.
Things I hadn't even considered, to be honest. I mean, we all know it can damage, the parent-child bond.
Right.
But did you know it can actually make kids more anxious and aggressive long-term?
Wow, I didn't realize it could be linked to those kinds of issues.
Yeah.
It's like, how can a child feel safe and loved when they're being physically hurt?
Right.
Even if you tell them it's for their own good.
It sends such a mixed message.
Totally.
And then that anxiety and confusion can actually manifest in more challenging behaviors down the road.
Yeah.
So instead of just reacting when things go wrong, this research is all about being proactive, like setting kids up for success from the beginning.
Okay, so less bad cop, more supportive coach. I like it. What does that actually look like in action?
So the source talks about the power of clear expectations.
Okay.
It seems obvious, but we often just assume kids, automatically know what we expect of them.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like expecting a toddler to sit through a fancy dinner party without, throwing a single pea.
Exactly. And that's where age-appropriate expectations come in. We have to remember that a 5-year-old's brain,
They're still little.
it just doesn't work the same way ours do. They're still developing their impulse control, their attention spans.
So constantly getting onto them for not meeting those unrealistic expectations.
Yes,
Actually backfire.
totally. It just creates more frustration for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Instead, this research suggests we focus on creating an environment that supports their natural development.
Okay.
And routines are a huge part of that. Routines. Okay, yeah. I am all about a good routine, like my morning coffee routine.
Yeah.
Non-negotiable.
Right.
But how does that translate to, the chaos of life with kids?
Well, think of it this way. Routines, they provide a sense of security and predictability for kids.
Yeah.
Especially the younger ones.
Yeah.
They might not be able to tell time yet,
Right.
but they thrive on knowing what comes next.
So instead of constantly feeling like they're walking into, a free-for-all, they have some anchors throughout their day.
Exactly.
I like that.
Maybe it's having a consistent bedtime routine.
Okay.
Bath, book, bed. Or knowing that dinner is always at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
Even if the menu changes. These little rituals, they create a sense of stability
Right.
and help kids feel safe, grounded.
Which then, hopefully, translates to fewer meltdowns.
Right.
Because let's be honest, we've all been there when our kid, loses it over seemingly nothing. Oh, absolutely. And, the source also made me realize that even with the best routines, there will still be times when those big emotions, they bubble over.
Oh, yeah.
For both kids and parents.
Okay, yes. 1,000 times, yes. I'm a pretty even-keeled person, but sometimes my kids just know how to push my buttons.
And that's where the source's take on timeouts really resonated with me. It's not about, punishment.
Okay.
But rather, it's a way for everyone to take a step back, calm down, and reset.
So instead of seeing it as this like punishment, we should think of it as a chance for everyone to just like take a breath.
Exactly. For younger kids, it might just be a gentle redirection, like moving them to a different room or activity to kind of help them shift their focus and de-escalate the situation.
That makes sense. Yeah, you can't exactly reason with a toddler who's in the throes of a full-blown tantrum.
Right. But for older kids, it can be more about, giving them the space to process their emotions independently.
Okay.
It's about teaching them how to self-regulate, which is a skill they'll need throughout their lives.
And for us parents too, right? Because sometimes we need a little time out from our kids just as much as they need one from us.
You said it. It's about, modeling those healthy coping mechanisms. It's about saying, hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now, so I'm going to take a few minutes to myself to calm down.
Right.
That way, we're not only teaching our kids how to, manage their own emotions,
Right.
but we're also, taking care of our own mental well-being in the process. It's a win-win.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this research really emphasizes that creating a positive and supportive environment is key. It's not just about what we don't do, but also about what we actively do to encourage those behaviors we want to see more of.
So what's the secret sauce?
Right.
How do we actually make that happen?
Well, the source talks about the incredible power of positive reinforcement.
Okay.
And I know it sounds simple,
Yeah.
but in our rush to, correct the bad, we often forget to just acknowledge and appreciate the good.
Oh, I totally get that. It's like we always notice when our kid leaves their clothes on the floor.
But we don't always say, hey, thanks for putting your dishes in the sink.
Right. Like it's those little things
Yeah.
done consistently that really add up.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Yeah.
How would you feel if your boss only ever pointed out your mistakes
Oh, God.
and never acknowledged your successes?
Oof. I'd probably feel pretty deflated.
Right.
Like, what's the point of even trying if all you ever hear about is what you did wrong?
Exactly. And kids are no different.
Yeah.
They crave that positive reinforcement, that feeling of being seen and appreciated for their efforts.
Totally.
And this research really drives home the point that it doesn't have to be anything over the top.
So no need to throw a parade every time they put their toys away.
Huh? No, definitely not.
Okay.
As simple, I noticed you shared your snack with your brother. That
Yeah.
was really kind.
Mm-hmm.
Or, hey, thanks for putting your shoes away without me asking. I appreciate that.
Right.
It can go a long way.
Yeah.
It shows them that we're paying attention, that we value their efforts, and that we believe in their ability to make good choices.
That's so powerful. It's like,
Yeah.
instead of constantly correcting them, we're actually like nurturing those positive qualities we want to see more of.
Exactly. And this research, it got me thinking,
Yeah.
if these principles are so effective for shaping children's behavior,
Right.
what if we applied them to ourselves?
Ooh, I love that. Because honestly, I can be way harder on myself than I am on my kids.
Right.
Like, all the time.
We all have those inner critics
Oh, yeah?
that love to point out our flaws, our
Right.
shortcomings. But imagine if we treated ourselves with the same, kindness and encouragement that we try to extend to our children.
So instead of beating ourselves up for, like, missing a workout,
Yeah.
we could focus on the healthy meal we chose that day.
Yes. Or maybe instead of focusing on, the pile of laundry that never seems to shrink,
Right. It never ends.
we acknowledge the fact that, hey, we managed to get the kids fed,
Yeah.
bathed, and into bed without a major meltdown.
Some days, that is the win.
Right. I'll take it. And,
Yeah.
let's not forget about setting those clear expectations for ourselves, too.
Ooh, good point.
Because how often do we set these vague goals like, I'm going to be more productive,
Yes, I do that all the time.
but without any real plan or structure?
It's like setting myself up to fail.
It's a recipe for frustration.
Totally.
Think about how helpful routines are for kids.
Right.
They thrive on that predictability, that structure.
Yeah,
Well, guess what? Most adults do too.
that's true, actually.
Maybe it's sticking to a regular sleep schedule,
Okay.
carving out dedicated time for exercise,
Mhm.
or even just creating a simple morning routine that sets you up for more, I don't know, a more positive and
Yeah.
productive day.
It's like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes.
If we're constantly running on fumes, we're not going to be our best selves
Right.
for our kids or for ourselves.
Exactly. And sometimes we might even need to give ourselves a timeout,
Ooh,
just like we do with our kids.
okay.
It's about recognizing when we're feeling overwhelmed or burnt out and taking a step back to recharge and reset.
It's so true. Even just 5 minutes of quiet time to, like, meditate or read a book can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. It's about treating ourselves with the same compassion and understanding that we extend to our children.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this research. It's not just about raising, well-behaved kids. It's about cultivating a more mindful, compassionate, and positive approach to life for everyone involved.
Beautifully said. So it sounds like the key takeaway here is that the principles of like effective discipline, they aren't just for kids.
Right.
They're life skills that can benefit all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong journey of learning, growing, and becoming the best versions of ourselves.
Love it. Well, there you have it. Discipline reframed.
Yes.
It's not a dirty word. It's an opportunity for growth and connection, both for our kids and ourselves.
I love that.
A big thanks to our listener for sending in this incredibly thought-provoking research. Until next time, keep those amazing questions coming.
And keep diving deep.